I don't know what the fuck that was. I don't know why the fuck I just seen the nigga ass crack. But I'm gonna pretend like I ain't see that shit. Hey Jay, I don't know why the fuck I click on the nigga story and I see a nigga ass crack. Jay, T up. Look, Dave Chappelle will never stop. My boy Patrick CC. You feel me? Anybody on here watches Dave Chappelle? My bad. It's all good, gang. I ain't tripping. Anybody on this bitch watch Dave Chappelle? You know what's so funny? I've never really watched Dave Chappelle. I've seen clips of the nigga. Everybody know who Dave Chappelle is, the controversial comedian that a lot of motherfuckers hate, but he funny as fuck. You feel me? Hell no. Who? Fuck, you know who Dave Chappelle is? What the fuck?
Good comedians will make you laugh. The
old?
Best comedians will make you laugh at things you are not supposed to laugh at.
Fuck Dave Chappelle. I fuck that nigga so much. I fuck with Dave Chappelle.
Iconic comedians will
motherfuckers have tried to cancel that nigga so much, but it won't fucking work. That nigga here to stay. He don't give a fuck about none of y'all niggas' feelings.
Transcend the punchlines, challenge societal norms, transgress established boundaries, and continue to share their thoughts despite an uproar of negative criticism. Dave Chappelle is an iconic comedian, but he did not get there easily. There have been numerous attempts to silence Dave, whether it was a heckler, an angry journalist, or a multi-billion-dollar organization. But Dave was never willing to compromise his integrity. Not for one man, not for $1. His big break in Hollywood was when Universal Pictures bought a movie Dave and Neil Brennan wrote called Half-Baked. It's a silly stoner comedy reminiscent of Jay and Silent Bob that wasn't a huge hit, but the movie did gross $17 million against a $7 million budget and has become a cult classic since. 24-year-old Dave wasn't fully happy with the way the film came out, but he was extremely proud to have his movie on the big screen at such a young age. From there, he started pitching a television show to various networks. Fox was interested, but they worried the show casted too many black people. More specifically, they thought the female star of the show wasn't funny and they wanted Dave to recast her to a white actress. Dave simply denied, because this particular sitcom was based on his life, and he grew up in an all-black household. A few days after that meeting, Variety posted an article that claimed he was playing the race card. Dave said, "This network built itself on black viewers, and what they're saying is white people are narcissistic. They don't want to watch black people. They want to watch themselves. It tells every black artist no matter what you do, you need whites to succeed." Fox claims they were making a light suggestion to add a different perspective, a point of view that allows a larger audience to appreciate it. Most young people in the industry would just accept the request of a major corporation, but Dave was unashamed of his decision and was willing to tell the world exactly how he felt. "I felt like I was beaten up and completely degraded," he said. "It's disgusting, and it made me want to vomit." It pretty much took Dave one bad experience to know this whole Hollywood thing is overrated. To make matters worse, his father was on his deathbed. While traveling back and forth from LA to Ohio, he realized how much he loved the small town of Yellow Springs. He describes it as something so real in contrast to Hollywood's powerful illusion. Dave purchased a farm out in the town with 3,000 people because he can focus on his family and friends. He can have real, genuine interactions with people who aren't trying to gain something from him. Sadly, his father passed away at the young age of 59. William David Chappelle III was a veteran, college professor, and an organizer in the civil rights movement in Ohio. Although young Dave lost the man he would go to for all of his advice, he knew that his father would want him to stand up and speak out for what he thought was right. Dave was not going to let anyone walk all over him, because Comedy Central was about to try their best at controlling him. Dave was convinced that after his father had passed, he was done with the show business, and he was just going to do stand-up. His first hour-long comedy special, Killin' Them Softly, released on HBO, and many consider this to be one of the best stand-up specials of all time. People knew Dave was a generational talent. He knew it. He could not give up on this dream. He started writing a variety show with various skits and sketches that were personal and relatable to the common man. He knew he had something big, and after a few years in 2003, he decided to pitch a new show titled The Chappelle Show, which got picked up by Comedy Central for 2 seasons. The Chappelle Show is regarded by many as the greatest sketch comedy show in history. Dave would open the show performing stand-up to a live audience and then shift the joke into a pre-recorded sketch. All of his bits were rooted in a great deal of irony, basically conveying the exact opposite of what you would expect, like this employee training video that teaches you exactly how to get fired.
Getting to work.
First of all,
never show up on time.
He created characters that would earn die-hard fan bases, like Tyrone Biggums, who was
most fucking iconic, boy.
well, pretty much just a crackhead. Or Clayton Bigsby, the world's only black white supremacist. Due to his blindness, he didn't know that he was actually black. Sometimes his characters were just over-exaggerated versions of real people, like Lil Jon or Rick James.
I'm Rick James. Enjoy yourself.
Edgy isn't even a good enough word to describe Dave's humor. He was way over the edge with some of these bits. The most shocking of them all was perhaps the Hard R family, a rich suburban white family whose last name is the racial slur.
Morning, niggas. Why, it's Clifton, our colored milk man. And it's my favorite family to deliver milk to. The niggas.
The very first episode of Chappelle's Show tackled an extremely risky subject, basically becoming a mission statement for the program. If you don't like this, you won't like anything else. Something like the Chappelle Show will never air on TV ever again, but at the time, people loved it. Now, even in 2004, the mainstream media was against shocking, vulgar, and risky entertainment, but they had a little tolerance. The solution back then was put it on after hours, like after 9 p.m.
Facts. If you know, after hours when all the kids go to sleep, that's when the real shit come on phone now.
When the kids are asleep. The Chappelle Show averaged 3.1 million viewers per episode in 2004, just shy of Saturday Night Live's 3.7 million. However, Dave's impact on culture at that time far exceeded SNL. He was a superstar comedian at a time where comedy was missing superstars. Dave's show saved Comedy Central from failing and made them a ton of money. Chappelle Show Season 2 Uncensored has broken both the first day and 7-day sales records for TV on DVD, with close to 500,000 units sold on its May 24th release date and more than 1.2 million units sold in its first week out in the market. Chappelle Show Season 1 Uncensored, released last year, is the best-selling TV on DVD title with close to 3 million copies sold. Because of the first 2 seasons' undeniable success, Comedy Central offered Dave a whopping $50 million for a new season, but instead, he walked away. Like many people who are new to the entertainment industry, Dave signed a contract that he didn't fully understand. Of course he hired a lawyer, but ultimately he knew this show was great for his career and he would make good money. What could possibly go wrong? Dave says he never got paid for the Chappelle Show because the contract said Comedy Central didn't have to pay him. This contract also said that they have the exclusive right to use the name and likeness of the artist in perpetuity throughout the universe in any and all media known or invented in the future. On top of them literally owning him, Dave just straight up didn't like the fame and attention. He just liked comedy. But even that was getting ruined. One night while he was performing in Sacramento, California, he walked off the stage after berating his audience for constantly shouting, "I'm Rick James, bitch," which had become a catchphrase from the popular Rick James sketch on his show. Stand-up is the most important thing I do, and because I'm on TV, you make it hard for me to do it, he said. The show is ruining my life, Chappelle told the crowd. Besides requiring him to work 20 hours a day, it has made him a star, which has resulted in the inability of fans to treat him as an individual. So when Comedy Central offered him $50 million, it came with stipulations. He had to get approvals on certain jokes. He didn't have full creative control, and they worked him like a dog. It wasn't worth the money. So one day, he just walked off set and moved to South Africa, desperate to get as far away from Hollywood as possible. In response, Comedy Central ran a smear campaign on him, saying that he was crazy and on drugs. In May 2005, Comedy Central began promoting the anticipated debut of Chappelle's Show Season 3. One day later, the channel announced that the production on the show had been unexpectedly suspended. Then 1 week later, every news outlet reported that Chappelle had checked into a mental health facility in South Africa, perpetuating the narrative that he was mentally unstable. Some reports said he was even smoking crack.
I was freaked out, man, with the fame thing and being called crazy and drug addict and all these things. Scared me. You know, being treated that way. Like I'm not a person anymore.
It's funny, we literally just got through watching Blackie video about how hip-hop and the industry don't give a fuck about you. They just want to see how much money they can make off you. They don't care whether you dead or alive. They just want to see how much money they can make off you. So
you say this shit about me in front of my children, and you know, who the fuck do these people think they are? And they don't know what happened. You know, I have
Dave's exit from the $50 million deal was one of the most profound statements in pop culture history. He was already mega famous, but ironically, this exit made him even more famous. One 2006 article said, "These days, if Dave Chappelle merely catches a cold, it winds up in the media or on the internet." He fired back, saying he was not on drugs and he was not crazy. In fact, he was the most level-headed person out there, denying money for his sanity. "I'm not in a mental facility. Everyone around me says, 'You're a genius, you're great, that's your voice.' But I'm not sure they're right." You hear so many voices jockeying for position in your mind that you want to make sure you hear your own voice. So I figured, let me just cut myself off from everybody, take a minute and pull a Flintstone, stop a speeding car by using my bare feet as the brakes. Hollywood just couldn't fathom that someone who became famous would choose to abandon that lifestyle. He did make a short reappearance at the 48th Grammy Awards where he received a standing ovation. Right in front of the entire industry, Dave told them how he didn't want to be there.
The only thing harder than leaving show business is coming back.
Later that evening, he went to an after party held at the home of the legendary artist Prince. Instead of talking,
again, I would, but I'm sick right now, and I don't know. I feel like you trying to play with me. I don't know why. You want me to dance? All right, I'll dance. I ain't finna get up though. Damn. Damn. Hold on. Damn. Hold on. Damn. There we go. I danced. What you think about Blue Beetle? I don't know. Stand up. Stand up. Excellent. What the fuck? You are God. 10 points. Yo, what the fuck?
talking to Mariah.
Yo, I danced. I'm sick, man. I ain't finna get up and do all that shit. Y'all see the title on my stream? I ain't finna get up and do all that shit. I'm sick as hell. Yo, what?
Carey, Common, or industry powerhouses, he sat in a chair on the back
Shout out to y'all
patio,
niggas,
only
though.
conversing with
Whoever
people
y'all
who
niggas is, I
wanted
don't know where the fuck
to.
y'all
He looks
came
like he is
from.
hiding from his peers, hiding from the attention, hiding from the part of himself that is a major star. Dave said, "This ain't real."
Oh my god, man. Alright, you know what? Yeah, hold on, chat. I gotta get rid of these NPCs. There's a bunch of NPCs in the chat. It's a bunch of NPCs. A bunch of NPCs. It's a bunch of NPCs. It's a bunch of NPCs. It's a bunch of NPCs. A bunch.
Really my thing.
I'm sorry, chat. I don't
After
know what the fuck that shit was. A bunch of fucking NPCs in my chat.
that night, Dave realized it was time to disappear, and he did just that. And nobody really heard from him for many years.
What did you do for those 10 years?
It was a humble existence. I had young children. I was raising my kids. I was living a suburban life. And then every once in a while, I get this feeling like I'm the funniest guy. I got to get out there. And I would like fly to Denver, do a week in Denver or something. And that's when you would read I was doing like these 6-hour shows. I performed like I was desperate for it. I loved it.
Yeah.
He rode across the country on a motorcycle, focused on raising his children, maintained good standing relationships with his friends. He lived an extremely normal life, just like me and most of you watching this video. Dave would only make selective appearances from 2005 to 2016. He had a few random stand-up performances here and there. One of them even broke a world record. A 6-hour and 7-minute set at the Laugh Factory became the longest comedic performance in history. He performed at the Oddball Comedy Tour in 2013, doing large arenas around the country. In Hartford, Connecticut, he was booed and heckled.
Hey Jay, don't worry about it. Just a bunch of NPCs that came in chat was telling me to dance, do all type of shit. Don't worry about it. Just a bunch of NPCs. It always happens.
During his entire set.
But they say this shit like me. Just know it's a bunch of NPCs telling me to dance. They finna give me thousands of bits and doing this. You are God. Like it was just a bunch of NPCs. The best way to describe what just NPC action.
Until he left the stage saying this crowd was the worst. He was booed and heckled during his entire set.
Damn. They told me some weird shit, kinda.
Until he left the stage saying this crowd was the worst one he had seen in his whole life. This bomb made Dave realize he was rusty, and he needed to get back to being funny again. So in 2014, he made a grand comeback by headlining 10 nights at New York City's iconic Radio City Music Hall. The buzz surrounding his return grew as he was interviewed on various late-night talk shows. Dave rocked the sold-out crowds every single night, selling over 60,000 tickets in total. These unforgettable shows marked his official return to the spotlight after his prolonged absence. Dave achieved a legendary status just from his Comedy Central show and one stand-up special. The comedy community as a whole was honored to have him back. He hosted Saturday Night Live during election weekend when Trump won in 2016.
Donald Trump, he did it. He's our president. I feel bad saying it. I'm staying in a Trump hotel right now.
Bitch ass, weird ass
I don't know if he's gonna make a good president, but he makes a swell hotel suite. I'm gonna tell you that. Housekeeping comes in the morning, cleans my room, and I just, hey, good morning, housekeeping. Grab a big handful of pussy, say, you know. Boss said it was okay.
Citizens feared that the new president was going to destroy this country. Dave was skeptical, but ended his monologue with this message.
I'm wishing Donald Trump luck, and I'm gonna give him a chance, and we, the historically disenfranchised, demand that he give us one too. Thank you very much.
Netflix announced that they would be hosting Dave for 3 specials, in which he would be receiving $20 million for each one. In a way, this can be seen as making up for the trouble he went through with Comedy Central. The Age of Spin was released on Netflix in 2017 and was met with good reviews. Months later, while headlining at Radio City Music Hall, he made multiple jokes about the transgender community. One in specific talks about Trump banning trans people from serving in the US military, in which Dave pokes fun and says that ISIS would be horrified to see trans women storming at them. Chappelle says he doesn't understand trans people, but doesn't think that disqualifies them from being a human being that deserves a life with dignity and happiness and respect. He ended by arguing that sometimes he thinks the only reason all of us are talking about transgenders is because white men want to do it. If it was just black people and Mexicans like, hey y'all, we feel like girls inside, they'd be like, shut up, no one asked you how you felt. Dave received a lot of criticism, with many citing that it doesn't matter he is joking because they are rooted in bigotry and overgeneralizations, or they say he shouldn't joke about a topic he is uneducated on. This back and forth just perpetuates.
People, that's why they call jokes. You don't take them serious. You are meant to laugh. It's called a joke. Humor is subjective. If you don't like it, cool, but it's called a fucking joke. Meaning he's not serious about it because he's joking about it. His point's to make you laugh about it. God damn.
Punctuated more jokes and commentary from Dave. It became a bulk of his material.
You know who hates me the most? The transgender community.
Oh no.
Despite the controversy, his comeback was receiving all the praise. In 2017, Chappelle received a Grammy Award for Best Comedy Album for his first 2 specials, The Age of Spin and Deep in the Heart of Texas, and later that year would go on to receive an Emmy Award and another Grammy for Outstanding Variety Special for Equanimity. He also won the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor, but it was in 2019 where the backlash reached new heights. Sticks and Stones released on Netflix in 2019, and Dave didn't hold back on this one. Me Too, gun control, opioid crisis, cancel culture, and of course the transgender community. He covered every hot button topic in one special. Sticks and Stones.
When you tell someone or when you say, tell someone, you know, so crazy, I've never ever like, I don't know, I'll probably just be like, hey, folks, like, chill out, but I've never really had a point in my life, I don't think I've ever, like, when I had to tell a nigga, like, they taking the joke too far. I don't know, I just don't give a fuck about, I just don't give a fuck about shit. I don't care. Like, again, if a motherfucker's offended by like a joke, cool, that's you. Me personally, I don't be seeing how, but like I could see why at the same time. You know, I don't know. I'm just hard body as hell. I think that's why.
This marks a shift. This performance felt way more like a piece of
I don't know, bro. I just been through a lot of shit in my life just to give a fuck. Ain't your business. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like, you feel me? Ain't nobody business. That's how I be looking at it. Exactly. Plus, I just been through a lot of shit in my life, Jay, where like I'm just hard body as hell. I don't really give a fuck about shit.
Commentary rather than stand-up comedy, at least in the first half. Now, I think this goes without saying, but comedy is extremely nuanced. Cherry-picking clips and bits can often remove the necessary context that sells a joke. NBC said that today's context-free Twitter culture is preventing Dave from thriving. You're either fighting
facts, and if y'all really think about it, Twitter is the main focal point of why a lot of shit be out of fucking context. Twitter, I seen a tweet, matter of fact, it's funny. I've seen a tweet a few years ago. A motherfucker tweeted some shit about like, Twitter is the only place where they'll literally take some shit out of fucking like Twitter's the only place and the only app that can really spin a whole fucking narrative. Like literally you could do some shit and a clip of you would get posted on Twitter out of fucking context like motherfucker. And that person that posted that clip could literally spin that narrative and that person that posted that clip could literally make any narrative of that clip that they posted of your ass. It's so crazy, folks. Yes. Twitter is scary as fuck because motherfuckers can spin and make their own narratives on shit. Of some out of context ass shit. And motherfuckers have this view of you that you just a horrible ass fucking person. No, but off a fucking clip that's out of context, folks. I fucking hate Twitter. Or should I say X now? Because you know that's what it's called now. It's called X.
Being President Donald Trump or you're a MAGA apologist. You're either believe all women or you're anti-Me Too.
This is just true. This is just true. And that is so funny. This is only chat. Let me tell y'all something. They try to do that with Cat facts, and they do that with Cat every goddamn fucking day. Listen, and this is just facts too. Like this is just Twitter in a nutshell. Like Twitter is like this. It's like if you have Twitter is pretty much an app where you cannot have no different opinion. If you having a different opinion on some shit, people are fucking pissed and angry with you. You can't if you don't agree with somebody, if you think logical, if you just a regular ass nigga, then there's pretty much something wrong with you. See what I'm saying? If you don't believe all women, if you say certain things, for Twitter, that I do not take that.
And that black and white world is not one in which Dave Chappelle has ever.
But I promise y'all, chat. I promise y'all, niggas, on my life, you is not, and I promise you, is not gonna find nobody like this in real life. That's like, read this shit. I want y'all to read this shit. I want y'all to read this shit. I promise y'all, chat, y'all is not gonna find nobody like Twitter motherfuckers in real life. I promise you not. Them type of motherfuckers only on the internet. You ain't gonna find them type of motherfuckers in real life. I can say it's only 2 judges. Niggas will be bugging out. Exactly. That's another thing. Like, it's just chat. But like I said, though, this shit is only on Twitter. You is not gonna find nobody like this in real life. Or Twitter. I ain't gonna lie, Twitter bitches is the worst, though. Don't get me started. Oh my god. See, I'm getting mad. Twitter bitches is the worst, but that's a whole discussion for another day. Twitter bitches is the worst. Now.
Many people read headlines and tweets, then form opinions without action.
What did I just say? See, he just said what I just say. Motherfuckers, cause like, and that's another thing about Twitter. Motherfuckers will read some shit, right, on Twitter. Like, I'm finna tell y'all how motherfuckers, like, on the internet act. Motherfuckers will see some shit, right, about a motherfucker or whatever the topic may be. They'll see the tweet or post or whatever has like a lot of likes, and they automatically think that person is right just because they have a lot of likes on that post. Without doing their own research, without actually looking to the post like, okay, is this actually true? Let me go see, or forming their own opinion. They just, oh, this tweet has a lot of likes, so therefore this person is right. That's literally how motherfuckers go off of Twitter. If a tweet has a lot of likes, that means you are automatically right in anything. I'm telling your ass, folks. It's crazy as hell, shorty. Like, that's literally how the internet works now. Twitter is the main fucking source when it comes to that. Motherfuckers will read a tweet with no context and automatically assume this person is like this. And Cat is the best example of this shit. Twitter despised that nigga Cat. It's crazy.
Actually digesting the material. However, even those who did fully digest the special still were not impressed. Sticks and Stones registers as a temper tantrum.
That's the thing, though. Hey, Jay, it's funny you said that because I be sitting over, I be thinking, like, when I get big, like, when I blow up with this stream and shit, that's another thing. You know what's so crazy? Like, I have to worry about shit like that. Like, motherfuckers are gonna be, you feel me? Twitter be the reason of celebrities' downfall. It's true. Facts. It's facts. Twitter pretty much control. If you famous, just know what really controls your life is Twitter. If they don't fuck with you, you pretty much just assed out.
The product of a man who wants it all. money, fame, influence, without much having to answer to anyone. Forbes chimed in with, Dave Chappelle's Sticks and Stones tries too hard to offend. Comedians have always made jokes about current societal standards and political climates. Discussing societal issues mixed in with quips and bits make their performances relatable, but not too serious. Dave and many people in defense of comedy argue that nothing is off limits when it comes to jokes, but opposers pick and choose what is allowed to be joked about. At this point, we're re-entering a familiar cycle. Chappelle releases a special on Netflix, he says something incendiary, it's quoted back to him in a headline, and Chappelle reacts to the criticism in another Netflix special. But this isn't necessarily a bad thing. A comedian is not absolved from criticism, and critics don't have to think someone is funny. This cycle is a product of free speech, and any sane human understands both sides are allowed and should speak their mind. One person who knows that the most is Dave Chappelle, who boycotted his own show because he felt like it. In 2020, Viacom, the owner of The Chappelle Show, licensed the show to Netflix and HBO Max without providing Dave with any compensation and without making him aware of the deal. He was aware that it was legal in the court of law, as it was stated in the contract he signed during the show's initial negotiations, but he saw the move as unethical. In a video released by Dave titled Unforgiven, he would ask his fans to boycott the show on HBO until he was paid, citing the ethical obligations of Viacom to pay him what he was owed. Since he had such a good relationship with Netflix, he was furious they did this to him because of how badly Comedy Central treated him.
So you know what I did? I called them and I told them that this makes me feel bad.
This still fucked
up
though, the same what you know, damn.
They agreed that they would take it off their platform just so I could feel better. That's why I with Netflix.
Dave and his fans praised Netflix for removing the show based on his feelings, but they were shocked when members of the trans community tried to get Dave's special removed because he hurt their feelings. The Closer was his 2020
I ain't gonna say nothing.
2021 Netflix special where he again made jokes about trans people, as well as anti-gay jokes and defending TERFs. He stated in the special that gender is a fact. In the special's closing moments, he tells a story about his friend Daphne Dorman, who was a trans woman and stand-up comedian, that defended Dave from criticism in his previous special, Sticks and Stones. Punching down requires you to consider yourself superior to another group. Dave Chappelle doesn't consider himself better than me in any way. He isn't punching up or punching down. He's punching lines. That's his job, and he's a master of his craft. Dave claimed that Daphne Dorman received so much hate from her own community that she died by suicide 6 days after.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Nigga say, yo, you take that back. No, nigga, you can't take that shit back now.
Right-wing media went into a frenzy saying the trans community are hypocrites and will destroy their own people. However, there is little evidence that supports Daphne's expiration has anything to do with hate. Back in 2019, that tweet had just 12 replies. Another tweet supporting Chappelle had 9. The Instagram post in which she declared her friendship with Chappelle doesn't have any critical replies. Comments on her Facebook post announcing that she was opening for Chappelle are uniformly positive. So are the ones on Reddit after she posted about it there. She doesn't appear to have said anything on Twitter or Facebook about receiving abuse. Her suicide note doesn't mention bullying, nor do any of the obituaries written after her death. Because of this, many people thought Dave was using someone's death to his own benefit, and the trans community were tired of Dave. Netflix employees interpreted the Closer.
Keyword, think. That's the keyword. Think. He's using her death. That's the keyword. They think, because that's what they're just telling themselves in their head.
As hate speech, and 65 employees participated in a walkout in protest of the company. The protest garnered a lot of support online. However, it was generally unsuccessful because Netflix has stood behind Dave, kept his specials up, and continued to work with him in the future. Then things escalated to physical violence again.
Yup, and this is what I'm talking about, where he got attacked by a trans person on stage. But they beat this nigga ass, boy. This nigga arm, I don't know if y'all saw the photo, this nigga arm was twisting all type shit and broke.
Make some noise for hip hop history.
He tried to stab this nigga too, folk. Your heart, like your story, Shane Dean. Damn, that's fucking tough. I can relate to that. I think this nigga ended up having a knife. He tried to stab this nigga Dave.
Isaiah Lee was the name.
God damn, look at this thing. Yo, they G, look this nigga arm. I told y'all this nigga arm was like this, and they fucked this nigga up.
Of the suspect, who later admitted why he attacked the comedian.
I identify as bisexual, and I wanted him to know what he said was triggering.
So he for real. So this nigga. So you purposely went to a show, even though, like, I just don't get motherfuckers. Why do y'all pay attention to that shit? That if some shit is bothering you and just irritating the fuck out your soul, G, oh my brother grave, shorty, why the fuck do you keep paying attention to it? Leave it alone. If I see some shit I don't like online, I just simply scroll. I don't comment. I don't say shit. I just click away. Like, it, just log off. It's not that deep. Stop paying attention to the nigga. He ain't gonna fucking stop. And guess what? He's still joking about y'all niggas to this day. Damn.
I wanted him to know that next time he should consider first running his material by people it could affect.
Isaiah Lee has also been charged with attempted murder after stabbing his roommate. In a last effort to take down Dave, a venue in Minneapolis canceled a sold-out show of his hours before the doors were set to open. We believe in diverse voices and the freedom of artistic expression, but in honoring that, we lost sight of the impact this would have. The event was moved to a smaller venue in the same city and sold out 2 shows back-to-back. It seemed like the more backlash Dave got, the more it would ultimately help his career. The closer was nominated for an Emmy for Outstanding Variety Special.
You know, speaking of X, I know this has nothing to do with this video. This is just some off-topic ass shit. A lot of y'all niggas is probably not gonna believe me when I say this, like at all. You know, his mama used to follow me, X's mama, back in 2017, 2018. I'm dead ass not even playing, but she don't follow me. She used to follow me. I'm not playing. On my brother grave, on my mama's life, I'm not playing. She used to follow me. I don't know what the fuck happened. Yeah.
To close out the year, Dave took the stage on SNL and delivered the show's opening
she don't follow me, and I don't know why.
Yes, he faced even more controversy. Recently, Kanye West had went on an anti-Semitic rant on social media, to which Dave responded with...
How do you feel? I don't really give a fuck, because I don't care about follow. Like, I don't care about if a motherfucker follow me. Like I told you, Jay, you weren't listening. I don't give a fuck about shit. I was just like, oh, okay. But that's some shit I don't tell motherfuckers. X's mom she followed me for a while. Mama, you can't even follow everybody once you got fat. I guess. And look, here come my mama in the chat on Phono Gray. You feel me? But yeah, like, his mama used to follow me, and it's so crazy. Like, I don't be thinking about it too much. Like, she used to follow me. But that's probably why. I wonder if she just did a mass unfollow spree once, like, X died and, like, she was getting famous and shit. I guess that's what happened. Yeah, it's my mama.
I denounce anti-Semitism in all its forms. And I stand with my friends in the Jewish community.
Yeah, folks, my whole family tapped in. I told you, Jay.
Kanye, is how you buy yourself some time. You know, the rules of perception. If they're black, then it's a gang.
She got famous.
Italian,
that's what I'm saying. But it really is crazy, though. Like, I don't tell motherfuckers that. Like, X's mom used to follow a nigga. That's so crazy. Like...
It's a coincidence, and you should never speak about it.
Should I flex that shit to motherfuckers?
Despite Dave obviously disagreeing with Kanye, his jokes entertain the possibility that some of what Ye said holds an ounce of truth, which led to even more critics calling Dave anti-Semitic. He ended the monologue with a message.
It shouldn't be this scary to talk about anything. It's making my job incredibly difficult. And to be honest with you, I'm getting sick of talking to a crowd like this. I love you to death, and I thank you for your support. And I hope they don't take anything away from me. Whoever they are.
Some people think that Dave's legacy has been tainted by hardcore transphobia, or trying too hard to be controversial. Even though his comedy has always toed the line as to what is socially acceptable, Dave has benefited greatly from free speech. He has gained hundreds of millions of dollars and die-hard fans around the world, so it's only fair if his opposition can also speak up and voice their opinions and disagreements with his performances. All attempts to silence Dave have been proven unsuccessful, because no matter what, he will always get right back on that stage and speak his mind.
Shout out that nigga fucking Dave, man. Real nigga shit. On Phono fucking Gray. W fucking vid. Y'all ass should never take my nigga Dave out. Fuck y'all talking about. Stop fucking playing with shorty ass. Y'all ass never take my boy out, boy.